Delta 303 we have definitely shots coming at the back of the residence. Everyone is in the back, check in right now. Are you good? Find out the numbers for the residents on either side of L1. Call them please and have them stay in their house.
Appreciate
Delta 305, this guy's actively shooting. The last shot came directly in our direction. Delta 307, we keep saying it looks like possibly young kids from the second floor window. It's going to be hard for anybody to get to that house, so we can try and find a number and call that house. Delta 305, 2 more shots fired.
307 copy, hit the wall over here.
Hey, R1, I need real good coverage here. I'm going to be pulling 2 of our guys back here, okay? Copy that? R1, copy. Stay behind that tree. When I say go, I want you to retreat back to me. You're going to turn and run when I give you the go. I want you to haul ass back to me. Copy that?
Shots began to ring out, and immediately the radio just started to erupt. One aspect that haunts me still is that we didn't know at that time if anyone had been shot, if one of our members had been shot, a member of the public had been shot. This magnitude of event, what's referred to as an active shooter, that was a real, true first one that we'd experienced in the city.
We had units from all over the city and every division on that call. It was nearing 100 officers. The supervisor started voicing each officer by name to make sure that they were okay after the gunfire. No one was breathing until there was that response, like, please answer, please answer.
The main player in these situations is what we call the command triangle. So we have the critical incident commander, who oversees all operations, but then part of the command triangle is the crisis negotiator lead, as well as the tactical support team lead. And then there is a whole bunch of supports in behind that command triangle to make things as smooth as possible. And of course, our goal is always to resolve things peacefully.
Officers came up over the air. It escalated extremely quickly, and it really never slowed down. They're in the most stressful situation of their lives. It was 12:40. It's lunchtime. Is there kids that go home for school or people going home from work? Just a dangerous time.
We had some officers that were trying to shield themselves from the gunfire behind trees, vehicles. There was a lot of radio transmissions going on. Our members put themselves in a lot of dangerous situations that day to ensure that the public was removed.
In this case, we had a school not that far away. You can imagine the amount of resources that would have to be brought into this, because you could never expose any of the people inside that school to potential gunfire. So it would be a coordinated effort using school resource officers, general patrol officers, whoever's available, traffic, to coordinate something like that.
You have members of the public that are phoning and they're worried. You have schools calling, daycares, people that are hunkered down in their basement. Fear that they have, it's real. I just can't even imagine that happening right around your house.
That individual was shooting out of multiple windows from multiple heights. While I would have appreciated more intelligence that we could have received from Air One, it was too volatile. We have additional capabilities now through the use of drone and so forth that we definitely would have applied that day had we had it.
About 2020, 2021, the drone unit came into play and is an absolute game-changing unit. We now have the ability to insert something with eyes and ears into a very tight environment.
His rate of firing was so indiscriminate. Hitting cruiser cars, hitting the ARV, hitting buildings, everything out of every potential access point in that structure at the time.
In this particular situation, because of the scope, we had to call in off-duty members. A typical team within the tactical support unit is 9 members. In a situation like this, we're talking 20 plus members, because we have to have coverage to respond to whatever may happen on any side of the structure. We also need to have other teams, such as gas teams. We need to have an immediate response team, it's called. So if something begins to escalate, we have support from our bomb unit, who can provide a tactic called explosive forced entry, who can very quickly breach a door through the use of controlled explosives.
There's a lot of different arms of the service that had to become involved. Even a minor role was extremely important that day, because every little thing could have impacted something greater.
We have general patrol, who are typically used on the perimeter. We have people that operate the truck that come in. We have people from an intelligence background, so they can tell us, who is this person, who are we dealing with here? The Public Information Office, so we can spread messaging to the public to stay out of the area. We also have scribes that come in, and then we also have logistics people, because we have to remember that the people on the front lines, they have needs in terms of breaks, they have needs in terms of hydration and food and all of these different things that have to be considered. And then we actually have someone who is running the truck itself in terms of keeping generators going, troubleshooting any issues on the vehicle, whether it's IT, connection issues. We might even bring in mental health professionals who can come and assist with themes. There is a lot of players that come to these scenes and a lot of training behind all of those separate units.
The communication center personnel who are doing a fantastic job. You know, they're behind a computer and a desk hearing gunshots, not knowing what's going on. That's hard on them. Plus now trying to keep a calm voice.
Mentally, I was there with them. I got to tune everything else out and just help them with what they have going on. You want everybody to go home to their families at the end of the day. There was one officer that didn't answer. And I had dreams about that after. His name, them calling his last name and him not answering. And I thought for sure that he had been shot and that's why he wasn't answering. We found out a TAC member had been pulling him back to safety at that time, but they answered for him after. And it was such a relief, like you have no idea. I was just breathing. I was worried about them.
By the grace of God that day, no one was hurt or killed. We were astounded.
It's truly a miracle that everybody made it out alive that was on that call.
Even with him being in handcuffs, that's just one part, and the job's truly not over just yet.
So in this specific case, we had expended cartridge casings, DNA swabs, bullet impact points. You end up with hundreds and hundreds of exhibits. Be photographed, given an exhibit number, cataloged. It can take over 100 hours. The TAC vehicle had several bullet impacts on it. Behind the house was a cruiser car peppered with bullet impacts. There was a house down the street that also had bullet impacts in it. There was a vehicle in front of the house. Their vehicle had also been hit by bullet impacts. It was an entire square city block that had to be shut down, had to be guarded by scene guards. There was a lot going on in that crime scene.
The effect of one of these large-scale incidents, if they carry on for a prolonged period of time, can literally be weeks. Say on a typical day, we have 100, 150 calls in the queue. By the time that an incident like this is over, you may have 250 calls stacked in the queue because of this incident.
A lot of these events draw a lot on our resources, and a lot of them occur simultaneously. It's a busy climate in the city. While we do our very best at making it work, it's very challenging.
We're quietly doing our work behind the scenes. We collect a whole bunch of evidence, but we bring it back to the lab to be properly documented for continuity. They need to be examined. Sometimes that can take weeks and months. I don't think a lot of people, including police officers, can see the interconnectedness, like a fishnet of every unit is important. That each one of those parts has the resources they need in order to function well, in order to keep the police service working properly.
From all of the specialty units, it's one of those things where it's 99% training and it's 1% action. This is go time. This is when things are getting real. They carry the most liability, the most danger to our members, to the public, to the suspect themselves. When they do happen, it's everyone on board.
When you apply for a job like this, it's not just about you, it's how you contribute to this team and how you take care of people.
You only become better through an event like this, and you're honest with yourself and you say, where could we do better? I'm very confident that based on how our members have trained, how they have now learned from these experiences, they have prevented and minimized people's ability to start doing those actions again.
Expertise comes from seeing and being exposed to different techniques and situations and court testimony. and you can't place a value on that. The expertise grows year after year after year. There's more and more violent calls more often. So we're on standby every night. It's very rare that I would go a whole week without getting called out at least once. We've missed birthdays, Christmas, New Year's, anniversaries. I've missed it all over 25 years.
Yes, it's a paid profession, but that doesn't sort of mitigate or minimize the fact that they're still human beings. Our behavioral health, they do a fantastic job, but they have a lot of responsibility because they now have to make sure our members are in a good place mentally, physically, everything to come back to work and then be effective. There's an impact at home on their children, on their families.
Because we're down in the gore of physical scenes, there's a price that comes with that. The behavioral health unit has been invaluable to me personally. They've allowed me to have the tools to deal with the difficult things that we see so that I don't walk with a mental limp for the rest of my life.
Good leaders care about people more than anything else. 2 months after, it was a really big operational debrief. I also went to the psychological debrief. And I'm sitting in a room full of officers, and an officer from the other side of the table stood up and came and said, "We care about you too," and she gave me a hug. 7 years later, it's still such a reminder of how worried we were for them and the public that day. I'll always be grateful that everybody went home to their families that day.
Utilizing all the different skill sets our service had, that was an absolute collective that came together that day, selflessly, to be honest. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, so when people think the event's over just because the gunshot stops or he's now in handcuffs, it's not. There is a tremendous amount of resources used in the background, and will that incur a financial impact? Yes. But at the end of the day, the human impact is far more important